Jai Gurudel student. So today in D block I'll start the last part of D block element. This one will take the about your reduction potential. Today we'll start reduction potential. So in reduction, today's topic you write down reduction potential. This is your topic today. So let's start from this point. So reduction potential, if I take copper for your example, copper solid to copper gaseous to copper iron gaseous, from that copper dipositive gaseous. So this is number 1, number 2, number 3. And from copper dipositive we have copper dipositive aqueous. This is number 4. So 1 is enthalpy of sublimation, enthalpy of ionization, then enthalpy of hydration. And sum of those enthalpies, sum of 1, 2, 3 and 4. This sum of 1, 2, 3 and 4, in case of the whole system, it is found that if I do that one, for copper, the value is highest. It is 9, 2, 3. So if you go in the book also it is written, they will see that in the copper it will be highest. By that, if we find the reduction potential E equal to E naught of cell minus 0.059 by n log Kc. So by doing that, we will get the reduction potential of copper is your 0.34. So for rest of the element of transition elements, the reduction potential is negative, but only for copper the reduction potential turns to be your positive. So that is why all of them reduction potential is less than hydrogen, but only copper having reduction potential is more than hydrogen. I note down up to this. Now if we consider this one, considering this one, we have electrode potential graph is there, E naught, this is electrode potential, and in this graph this is the electrode potential for hydrogen. Electrode potential for hydrogen is 0.0 volt. Electrode potential is 0.0. These are the negative electrode potential, these are positive electrode potential. If we considering the graph, it will found that it is like that versus your atomic number if you drew. The graph looks like that. In this one, this is electrode potential versus atomic number we are doing. This is titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, iron, cobalt, nickel, copper, zinc. So this starts from titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, iron, cobalt, nickel, copper, zinc. Copper. So only what you are getting, copper heavy positive electrode potential and rest of them are negative electrode potential. So below this line all these things are negative electrode potential. So that was what you have to learn. This most of the elements having your negative electrode potential. So what does it mean actually? If we have negative electrode potential, so it tells you that there are some unique property of copper you have to explain. For example, copper, if you react copper with dilute H2SO4, copper, zinc with dilute H2SO4, then copper will not react. So zinc plus H2SO4 dilute, this is ZnSO4 plus H2. So zinc can displace hydrogen, but same thing for copper. If you take H2SO4 dilute, then there will be no reaction. However, with concentrated, it will react, but with dilute, it will not react. So student, write down up to this. Now, after that, I am taking another point. After one question is that why copper dipositive is more stable than copper monopositive, or why copper monopositive undergoes disproportionation reaction. So actually question is why copper 2 salt are more stable in aqueous solution. So this question you have to answer. So this question how are you going to answer? If we have copper positive, if we have copper 2 positive. So with copper positive it will form bond with the water. But this bond, due to the presence of one positive charge, is not so effective compared to copper dipositive. It will form more stronger bond with the water. So what you can tell that the hydration enthalpy of copper dipositive is greater than copper monopositive. So hydration enthalpy of copper dipositive, that is why if you have considered, if you think one student, if you have copper positive, it is 3D10 configuration. But copper 2 positive is 3D9 configuration. But it is stable in water. Why stable in water? To take out one electron from D10, if I take one electron, then it will form D9. If I take out one electron from 3D10, then it becomes 3D9. So it requires large amount of energy. But the hydration enthalpy in this case is higher, which overcome the large amount of energy required for ionization. For example, for this ionization, if the energy required 5, and from here to here, the hydration enthalpy is -10, so it is more. Plus minus you need not required. When energy give out is more than energy required. That is why copper dipositive forms in solution. So after that, actually we have to take another question. Explain why transition elements show maximum oxidation state in oxo and fluoro compound, where the oxo compound shows its superiority. So with that we have to conclude this chapter, because most of the things from this chapter is not in the syllabus. So there is a competitive question is that if I have a complex of manganese with fluorine and manganese with oxygen, so here what you have learned, the manganese shows oxidation state of +4 with fluorine, and manganese shows oxidation state of +7 with oxygen. So first point is that manganese shows higher oxidation state with oxygen and fluorine because both are most electronegative. So first question is that higher oxidation state with oxygen and fluorine because both are highly electronegative. Both are highly electronegative. This is higher oxidation state with oxygen and fluorine. And next point is that why oxygen is superior. So you can see that with manganese it forms +4 oxidation state, with manganese it forms +7 oxidation state. So why with manganese it is oxygen is superior. The second point answer is that oxygen has the ability to form multiple bonds. Now you have asked what is multiple bond. Actually, multiple bond means oxygen can form more than one bond. That is multiple bond. This is multiple bond, this is multiple bond, this is multiple, this is single bond. And fluorine is unable to form multiple bond because it is satisfied with only one electron. So it will form only single bond. So oxygen has the ability to form multiple bond. That is why it shows its superiority. That is why it shows its superiority. So this point you have to learn like that. Higher oxidation state with oxygen and fluorine because both are highly electronegative. Generally, all the elements forms shows higher oxidation state with oxygen and fluorine. This is a general term because oxygen and fluorine is the most electronegative. Oxygen is 3.5, fluorine is 4.0. But why oxygen is superior? Because oxygen is able to form multiple bonds. Remember, multiple bonds. So that is what we have in T block element, student. So you can go through the T block elements, and if you have queries you can ask. But provided you have to learn that one, that gives you good marks in the exam. Next we will start, let's see, next we will start maybe in the unit 9 or unit 7. Probably unit 9 I will complete, then unit 7, then unit 1. If I do that one, we have completed the part 1 book. I am targeting December 15th to wrap up the syllabus. After that you will prepare of your own. But I will be here to give you the more and more lectures, so that whenever you have any confusion you can ask. We can, but our motto is that to get all the knowledge fully, and to ensure that we will get minimum 90% marks in the exam, minimum. Maximum, so I wish that all of you get 100 marks in maximum, because one of the students, Kolyan Mrudula, this year got 99 out of 100. So there is a chance that you may get 100 out of 100. So for a teacher, that I can take you up to 95, 96, but from that you have to score of your own. So thank you. This is what we have in case of D block.